Coil Building 101 Part 1. This series of videos right here, okay, are for you newbie vapors out there watching, just getting into rebuildables. You want to learn how to build your own coil as perfect as possible. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You're in the right place. Are you ready? Are you ready to build a perfect coil every time? Let's get to it. Attention, all cloud chasers! All cloud chasers! Are you listening? Are you listening? Are you watching? If you are watching, know this. Cloud Chasers 101 Part 3 is still coming, okay? There's a reason. There's a reason why I've been holding off. And that reason is because batteries, okay? In this third part, I was going to go over batteries. I was going to go over, what I use, VTC4s, VTC5s, but all that's changed. See, now VTC4s and VTC5s are pretty much no longer hitting the market. I mean, you can get them in some places, but they are harder and harder to find. And because of that, I am taking a step back from doing part 3 for now until I find a battery that rivals the VTC4s and VTC5s that everyone can get anytime that's accessible. Got it? So what's on the docket today? This first series is going to be talking about coil wrapping, microcoils, macrocoils, nanocoils, super nanocoils, how to wrap your coil, how I wrap my coil. It's not going to be talking about, how to insert those coils into the RDAs or your RTAs, etc. I'm not going to be talking about that today, just going to be talking about how to wrap the most perfect coil that you can wrap possible. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive down. I'm going to show y'all how to wrap these suckers. Alrighty, so these are the tools that I use pretty much on a daily basis to do my coil wraps, whether it be microcoils, macrocoils, super nanocoils, or nanocoils. Also, I will have links in the description of this video to let you guys know where you can get all this stuff and the prices, oh yeah, etc. And again, before we move any further, I do want to state this. This video is to show you guys just how to do your coil wraps. It's not going to be showing how to install it, what we're going to be using to clip the wire, none of that. That's going to be in the next segment of this part, this Coil Building 101 series. So the first coil we are going to start off with is the macro coil. Now you notice how I have two tools, two screwdrivers in my hand. The top one is larger. It's for your larger macro coil. Some may argue to say it's for your super macro coil. I don't know about that, but this larger screwdriver is equivalent to something like a 5/32 drill bit, or is 4 millimeters in diameter. And the one below that is equivalent to something like a 1/8 inch drill bit and is about 3 millimeters in diameter. But the reason why I like to use these screwdrivers, most screwdrivers for that matter, have a lip, and it just makes it so much easier to do your builds. I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about right now. So I'll position my Kanthal just like that, okay? My thumb right here, I've got more leverage. I'll even slide my thumb up even more to get more leverage. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping it. So I've got this lip. I'm going to use that lip, okay, just like that. And then I'm going to start taking it over and making these wraps as perfect as possible. So the next step, I'll slide this sucker up just a little bit, and then I'm going to fix this lead over here. Just going to pull it down, straighten it out, and boom. And there it is, pretty much a perfect macro coil. Okay, we're going to run this again, except we're going to be doing this with the 1/8 inch drill bit or the 3 millimeter screwdriver. Same thing, use the thumb, the wire up here is leverage, and then I'm going to use this lip, okay? Use the lip, just like that, and then we're going to start wrapping. And look at that. I mean, this thing is like mint! And it's all because of this lip. You've got that leverage, which means you're able to wrap more efficiently. Your wraps are definitely more in line, in sync, side by side, even, baby, even. Just let go of that lead, just like that, and then hold this down, pull this lead down, straighten it out just like with the other. There she is. So now on to micro coils, and this screwdriver right here, this 2mm screwdriver, gets all the attention, okay? It's equivalent to something like a 5/64 drill bit. Well, a 5/64 drill bit is slightly smaller than this 2mm screwdriver, but it's pretty darn close enough, perfect for me, and that's what I've been using. And this little set, the screwdriver set, I got this thing at Lowe's for like $4.50. Again, down in the description, I will have this information where you can get it, the price, etc. But yeah, this 2mm screwdriver right here, she's been my best friend for these micro coils. Okay, micro coil time. I got my 2mm screwdriver, got my piece of Kanthal laying across it just like I did with the macro coils with those other screwdrivers. The same exact method, except I'm dealing with something just a little bit smaller. So what I do is I hold down that wire for more leverage, and then I'm going to use that lip, as you guys can see right there. I'm going to use her up. Okay, so here we go. Using that lip just for the first turn. See it? See how I'm doing it? One wrap side by side, as close together as possible. All day, baby. All day long. Okay, so I got my wraps pretty much as even as they're gonna get. Let go. Take this lead over here that we use for leverage, and then just straighten her out, pull her under. Straighten this lead. And just so you know, guys, these coils that I'm showing you guys how to do today, they are for RDAs, specifically RDAs. It's same concept for RTAs, but for RTAs what you want is you want one lead going under in one direction, one lead going over in one direction, so both in the opposite directions. So if I were to do it with an RTA with this, I would just wrap it one more time around, just like this, to where it would go under. This one over here would go over. Boom. It'd be like for a K-Phone light build, be like for a squate build, etc. But for today, this video is meant to be to show you guys how to do your wraps as perfect as possible, as easy as possible. Convenience, baby, convenience. Same thing for your nano coil, except for the nano coil, you're going to be using a screwdriver even smaller, 1.4mm in diameter, which is equivalent, well, it's not as equivalent, but it's a little bit smaller than a 1/16 inch drill bit. Same idea, guys. Use that lip, leverage. And boom, look how perfect that is. Oh yeah, she's a beaut, man. Let go of this lead, pull this lead under, and it's the same process for every coil, guys. Every coil. It's easy. Easy once you get the hang of it. So there is your nano coil. Next step, we're going to be doing the super nano coil. Now this can be a little tricky because we're using a needle and there's no lip, there's no leverage. But I'm going to show you how to do it as easy as possible to make it as convenient as possible. But I'm using these hard beating needles. You can get them at any craft shop, Michael's, AC Moore. So here's the needle, and this thing is tiny, but I had to tape the end where it was sharp, and I recommend if you're using a needle, tape it up at the end so you don't stab yourself. But I'm going to show you how to do this super nano coil. Okay, I got my Kanthal at an angle. Here's the needle. I hold it just like that between my thumb and my index finger, and then I just start to wrap. Now the first wrap does not count, and we'll go over that in a second. You got to hold her tight, and you just start doing them. As close together as possible, and what you're going to do is let go of this lead. That's the first wrap right there. All we're going to do is just unwind it. Unwind that sucker. Straighten that lead out, and the rest are even wraps, baby. But this coil is definitely the hardest out of the ones that I just showed you because you don't have that much leverage. So that is how I wrap my super nano coil. So those are the tools that I use on a daily basis to wrap my micro coils, my macro coils, my nano coils, or my super nano coils. Alrighty, so those are the tools and the methods that I use to do wraps, whether it be microcoils, nanocoils, macrocoils, or super nanocoils. Remember, this is a series, so the next series will most likely be on how to install your coil into your RDA, and then maybe we'll talk about wicking, how I do the wicking, how I position my coils depending on which RDA, RTA I'm using. Who knows? One never knows. This is Rip Trippers, and remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.